Oh, oh. Yep, I hit the button. You like that background? Kind of spooky. Not really spooky, but at least it's orange.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of classy. I would like to have like ghosts or something. I was gonna buy it. I found a pack I could buy, but I was like, dang, it's already Halloween. I'm not gonna buy it till next year. I did find a Christmas pack though, so I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah, I was like, it'll be time for the Christmas pack.
I am gonna buy that. It's got like snowflakes and stuff, so it'll be pretty cool. I was like, oh, I can use that for like a month and a half. I'll get my $15 worth or whatever it costs. I'm cheap. Let's see.
Will you be able to keep it for next year too?
Oh yeah. But I wasn't buying the Halloween thing on October 30th, man. I was like, nope. I was like, I should have thought of that a month ago. It's probably been there all year.
Where do you even find them at?
I just Googled it. Somebody made it. Like it's like for the service. Yeah, I mean, I could make them.
Yeah, you could probably make them in Canva.
Oh yeah. So what it is, it's layers. Like it's just using like, a program that'll give you layers. That's how I made like our thing with our logos up there. Like those are different layers that you like. I could totally make this, but I just don't want to spend the time. And I'm not super creative. But see, they just came out with, see how that's moving in the background?
Mm-hmm.
They just added where you can add video in the background. That's why that's moving. I think it's pretty sweet looking.
Yeah, that is cool. I love working in Canva because like I used to scrapbook, so then it's sort of like digital, like you know what I mean. It's sort of like digitally doing that. So that's a cool thing.
I see a Canva commercial every like 7.5 minutes on the treadmill every morning because do you know the Canva commercial where they go like the robot? Do you ever see that one? It's on TV nonstop. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying.
It's a good product and they keep improving it. So I think, that's the key.
They need to improve that commercial. Actually, they seem to make a second commercial, so I don't have to see that same one. Like, I don't care how good your commercial is, but if I watch it that's a bad thing about like Pluto TV is a free app. And it's through Paramount, right? It's CBS program. It's like old CBS programs, but man, they need a bigger variety of commercials. Oh,
that's funny.
Horrible. That Canva commercial.
Let's contact them and see what it is to throw up a Magic for Less Travel commercial up there every now and then.
I was going to talk to you about. You should help the sponsor for the Vikings cheerleaders cheer trivia night. We could have sponsored a round.
Cheer trivia. It would have to be a Disney question.
Oh yeah, we could have done a Disney round probably. I didn't think about that. But see, I'm not even gonna be there because I'm going to the Tennessee football game. God, I hope we win this Saturday. If we do, we'll be like ranked at like probably 6 in the country.
Wow.
My little heart will be so happy because we're playing Georgia. They're number 1. They've won 25 games in a row.
Wow.
I might actually drive to Georgia to take down their goalposts. Their own stadium. I'd be arrested.
Yes.
Sitting in Athens jail.
It's a good thing you aren't a teacher anymore.
I know. Where's everybody at?
You wouldn't get your clearance.
I don't know. I would want it. Okay, so let's see. Let me get some questions. Okay, we're good. Scott's going to try to jump in. He's got a dentist appointment.
Okay.
He's going to try to jump in if he can get back in time for the second show. So we'll see.
Cool.
All right. We just don't have as many people because we're earlier, but
we are earlier.
People will trickle. All right. So if you have questions, we would love them in the chat. So please drop them in and we will get cracking.
Give us a good, I don't know what kind of question to even suggest, but
otherwise we'll make stuff up. We can do that. We're good at that.
Oh yeah, we're good at it.
15 years. That's crazy. All right, here we go. 2381. This is November 1st show. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Unreal. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2381 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents, of course, over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you and happy November. That's right. The holiday season has arrived. Oh my gosh, people are driving off the road and saying, slow down, Mike. But you're going to see my co-host today It is full on North Pole mode at their house. I'm telling you, with the pre-show, that's what we've been talking about. I want the same thing to happen here in the BOGP studios, but my wife says, whoa, 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 pump the brakes a little bit, because I just love Christmas. I'm ready. But, turkey before mistletoe, I think is how it has to happen around these parts. But, man, I'm ready. I'm excited. But I still got to devour all that leftover Halloween candy because the wind chill was like 17 here, and we didn't have quite as many trick-or-treaters as we thought we were going to have, because when we bought the candy, 85 and sunny. Of course, Midwest, when it was time for the trick-or-treaters to come around, like I said, wind chills, just knock your nose right off your mask. It was so cold last night here around St. Louis. So anyway, we're going to have a good time talking Disney. So hopefully you had a great Halloween. Joining me today to answer your listener questions, your friend and mine, the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, freshly returned from Walt Disney World, Pam Forrester. Pam, happy Wednesday and happy wishes holiday season, whatever it is. We're in transition today.
We are. It's a crazy transition thing. Yes, I just got home from doing Mickey's Not So Scary. I go back in like a couple weeks and I do Jollywood and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't even know what to think. But so I will say our Halloween is our trick or treat is on Halloween tomorrow as we're recording on Monday. And yeah, we're looking at rainy and cold. So I'm like, what are we going to do with all this leftover candy? And then I remembered my daughter is a teacher and there is a teacher's lounge, and you put things in there and they disappear like instantaneously. So anyways, so I have no problems.
Teachers are scavengers, man. I'll tell you, teachers will take anything. I mean, I'm not talking candy. I'm talking like any kind, like you throw like old leftover runner sneakers in the teacher's lounge,
Yes.
gone. I mean, immediately. It doesn't matter. I mean, you pick the most random thing you have in your house, throw it in the teacher's lounge. It'll be gone in 12.3 minutes. It's wild. It's like a freaking nature. I mean, I used to be a teacher, and I'd walk into the teacher's lounge and I'd be like, gotta make a copy, got to quiz on Thursday, got to get to the copy machine, that's how old I am, right? We used to use paper. Remember those days? Paper quizzes. I'd be rolling in, like we had a TV in the teacher's lounge, like, oh, wonder what's on CNN today, on my break, back when teachers actually used to have breaks on their hour. And so, roll in, oh, there's bagels, and the St. Louis thing, bagels sliced like bread. That's a whole nother debate on the internet. In St. Louis, all of our bagels are sliced like bread.
I've seen it
because they're from a place called Bread Company, which around the country is called Panera, but in St. Louis they're called Bread Company. And so when they're sliced like bread, you can destroy them because you're not taking a whole bagel, you're taking like 2 slices. So you're just taking like 2 slices, then you're taking 3, 4, 5, 6. Bagel. But by the time I copy 7 stacks of quizzes for my week, bagels are gone. And I'm I'm like the crook because I ate the whole thing of bagels. And everybody that has like a 10 o'clock break, you're not getting anything. You're getting crumbs.
No,
you're just getting
there early.
Cream cheese. That's it. That's done.
It's true. So Steve sometimes will ask me, because when he used to go into the hospital and work, the secretaries would have like little dishes of candy, like that were out, like themed to like whatever the holiday was. And he's like, how come we don't have any of that? I'm like, yeah, this is not your life anymore. I'm sorry. We don't have that here at the Magic for Less Travel headquarters. Sorry.
And I'm thinking about bringing the excess candy into the BOGP studios. But the problem is, I don't have a lot of throughput into the studios. Like, you just go right into my gullet.
It would just be you. And you would be like, I need another piece of candy.
Exactly.
Now another piece.
I'm like a dog, right? I mean, I'm like, I did a pretty good job on that email to a guest right there.
Right.
I do deserve a Kit Kat right now.
Yes. True.
But I mean, it was, what I used to teach, and God bless it, I used to love teaching, but it was like a 27-to-1 ratio. I mean, I'd fire out candy because back in the day, we used to go to the Halloween party. You come home with 78 pounds of candy. Yes. And I'd be like firing out, bags of little mini M&Ms. Like, that's right. 17 prime number. Whew. Boom, back row. And it was like feeding the seals, man. Whew. And they would love it. I would love it. I'm getting rid of my candy like it was a win-win-win. I used to love firing. I was like a hero, but now not so much. It
was easy to be a hero back then, Mike.
It's got life.
Now you can't even take candy into school anymore.
That's true. I'd probably go to jail. Like, you're bringing M&Ms in? Contraband!
Oh gosh, now we sound like the old people who were like, when I was back in school.
By the way, stay off my lawn. Anyway. Oh, we are. I think we might have a special guest to answer a couple questions today because his shift is over down at Walt Disney World. We'll see. He's trying to get in here, but we'll see. Kevin's got a question in the live chat. We're going to get to some in the inbox at mike@beourguestpodcast.com. You can always email us questions or comments or show suggestions, whatever you have. Mike@beourguestpodcast.com. And you can email any of us, all four of us, at our first names at beourguestpodcast.com if you ever feel the spirit moves you, just so you know. Kevin says, heading to Walt Disney World for New Year's just to experience the craziness. Planning on hitting Epcot on December 31st, but have wild animal trek reservations that morning at Animal Kingdom. And he continues, I'm glad just in time here, because here's the second part. Spending New Year's at Walt Disney World this year just to explore it for once, knowing it's going to be a busy time of the year, wanting to do the Magic Kingdom on the 30th. And he's going, going to New Year's on the 31st. What do you think the chances are of Epcot being full and not being able to hop in on the 31st? So Pam, we've done this many times. All of us. Many. On the 31st. So let's talk. Kevin's in good shape.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, you have the most important thing needed for a Disney vacation or really any vacation. You have the perfect attitude because you know it will be busy. That's half the battle.
He didn't say busy. He said crazy, and he's accurate.
Exactly, because I can't tell you, like, you can read the reviews online and whatnot. We went to Epcot on New Year's Eve and it was busy. How disappointing. I'm like,
it was not a normal day. No kidding.
No,
it was not.
No, it's not. It's not for so many reasons. Get you a good travel agent, friends, if you didn't know it was going to be busy. No, so that's what you need, first of all, is the great attitude, and you already have it. I will say we have done this many, many times, and even when parks did close, this is pre everything, right? There is not one time that they didn't reopen later on during the day. So that's the good news. You might have to watch for a little bit if it does seem to be closed for a little bit, and it's probably just a few hours. It's that weird late afternoon time or early afternoon time that it sometimes will close for a little bit, but we have not seen that in a while. And I think that you will be in good shape. And that's the perfect idea. You see Magic Kingdom on the 30th, then Epcot on the 31st. And we recommend that a lot of times because the 31st is definitely going to be your most crazy day, right? And Epcot's a little bigger, gives you a little bit more elbow room. Although sometimes when you're standing in line for something for a very, very long time, it doesn't feel that way. If you can get a dining reservation for that 12:31 time at Epcot, I would suggest going ahead and doing that, just because at some point you want to sit down, you want to be out of the craziness for a little bit, and counter service gets super crazy. It's just one of those things. And if you're hungry, and once you get hungry, then you're hungry. And so your options are wait in the crazy long line or leave. Or if you're real smart, you have an ADR that night. So that's our big suggestion.
The biggest suggestion is to have an ADR. Right now is the time. I mean, we're getting to 60 days out, like in the next day or two. I mean, Scott and I were looking at this for marathon weekend. So we may be, I'm not looking at a calendar right now because I'm recording, but you need to get an ADR for that. Early evening is prime time for New Year's Eve. The best, we've done this many times, like a 5 o'clock, I'd say between 3 and 7, get an ADR for any time in that window at a sit down restaurant, wherever it is in the park, because that's going to get you off your feet. It's going to get you some good food, and it's just going to get you that respite to power on. Because the thing is, once it gets dark at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 5, then the rest of the day you can power through because you got good food in your belly. You've had a break. You've enjoyed a meal, and it breaks up the day, right? And you're going to be doing something else that earlier in the day, you're not going to be in the park the whole day, but it makes that whole rest of the night fun. You can go into China, dance with the fire breathing dragon. You can do a silent disco in Japan. You can go dance with the Beatle covers band in the UK. you can just go around and party. But if you try to like counter service it, the party isn't going to be happening because you're going to be starving, waiting in line in China to get some white rice. I mean, I've been there too. And you're going to honestly, I mean, and you got to strategically, sometimes like plan your potty breaks because you're not just even rolling into the bathroom. Sometimes you got to wait 10, 15 minutes to get to a stall. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts, but it is. I mean,
it's fun.
It's like, it's like Times Square, but it's not that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The fun is the nuts of it all.
Oh yeah.
Makers, and it's annoying, but I mean, you just annoy everybody right back. You know what I'm saying? Like they got noisemakers, but you get right back at them. I mean, it's part of the game.
I know, it's like those things you're like, oh, I want a nice, quiet, whatever, insert whatever holiday it is. This is me, right? 3 months out, 4 months out. Oh, I want a nice whatever holiday at home. And then I'm like looking at the socials and I see all the fun people are having. I'm like, dang it, why didn't I plan on going there? I want to be there. But no, I think some of my most fun New Year's Eves have been spent at Walt Disney World in the craziness with everyone else because you're in there. It's just a good, crazy fun. And for the most part, pretty wholesome as New Year's Eve celebrations go. So I always really enjoy it. They do a great time and you're sort of there in the sea of humanity with everyone else and loving every second of it. So
I mean, I was just looking at pictures the other day, and like, I mean, it must have been cold this year because we were there with a huge group of us. I mean, I'm in a Chewbacca costume.
Was cold,
we're having dinner in Japan, like at Tepanito, and I'm like wearing a Chewbacca costume. Like,
I had scarf and gloves on. I know I did.
You know, it's good night when you're going around having Japanese teppanyaki and in a Chewbacca outfit. I mean, what?
Right. So, where else can you do that?
Wait, breaking news. Hang on. Yes. Oh, wait, somebody just came into the studio. Hang on. Somebody else wants to help us answer questions today since it's only two of us. Hang on. Okay. Yes, can I help you?
Yes. I just finished up my season down at Walt Disney World, and I'd like to help you answer some listener questions.
Well, you kind of sound familiar. Who are you again?
Well, you know who I am. I'm Goofy with a chainsaw, but I'm done for the year. So, can I add a couple 2 cents on the questions today?
Well, I guess. Why not? Do you have any help here for Kevin with his New Year's Eve situation? I mean, do you stay at Epcot after the season? I mean, that's kind of weird. I mean, like Halloween's your thing. Do you ever go around on New Year's Eve?
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, that'd be kind of weird, you know. It's all about partying on New Year's Eve, and I don't really want to scare people. But every once in a while, I like to get my silent disco on in Japan. Okay.
All right. So Goofy with the chainsaw, silent disco in Japan. Thank you. All right. Are you going to hang out with us and maybe answer another listener question a little bit later?
Why not? I got to go get a little gas for the chainsaw. I used it all up last night at Halloween and all, chasing people around back in Frontierland. But yeah, if we get some good questions, I'll hang out here in the studio for a few minutes.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks, Goofy. All right. Okay, so that's weird. As you people walk into the studio, you never know you're gonna get. It's wild here. I don't know. I actually need to lock the door next time.
Well, especially if there's Goofy with a chainsaw hanging
out. For real, dude. I turn around, dude. I'm like, what's going on? Aaron says Disney's been doing Halloween since August. Are we ready to suddenly change holidays? Yes. I mean, well, you get what do you get? Like 5 days?
No, I don't even think so. I think this is the really quick one because when is the first Mickey's Not So Scary?
No, they mean Very Merry.
Yes.
You can't keep track. I saw that. So I've seen that there are holiday decorations up in Disney Springs, and I saw those Christmas star decorations are up at the studios, like the tinsel stars on.
Yes.
Those are up. I don't think any trees are up or anything yet. God, it's crazy.
I know.
They're gonna be like this week. It's on. Like, bring it. Here come the 18-wheelers with the Christmas decoration.
Okay, so it actually does not start. The first Mickey's Very Merry is November 9th.
So we got at this point 8 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That will be it.
Cool. All right, here to the inbox. This one's from Trisha, our good friend up in Wisconsin, who hooked me up with some sweet Wisconsin wares this summer, and we got to have some dinner over at LS Teca, which was fun. She has a email about the Disney core memories we did a couple of weeks back, and she says, I'm playing podcast catch up after my trip. Honestly, binge listening to the BOGP helps me beat the Disney blues. I also strayed from my normal touring plans from this trip and took a late night flight out. So it was the first time that I did a park on departure day. We ended up at Animal Kingdom, which worked out well as we did early entry and hit almost all the attractions without Genie Plus. We rope dropped Flight of Passage, and I bought an individual lightning lane as I knew my parents would really enjoy that ride, and they did twice. Leaving after a full park day is the way to do it. I was so tired, and I was happy to get on a quiet plane with napping people. And this was cool because Trisha took her parents. Her parents were celebrating their retirement, and so she went down with her parents. And man, they did it right. They were all over the place, and every morning, Trisha would send me an email like, "Here's what we're doing, Mike." It was
I love that.
I'm like, guess what I'm doing? I'm working. You guys are doing it. You guys are
right
over having Beverly and Epcot, and stuff like that. It was fun.
It's one of the best parts of our job is to get to hear about someone doing it right.
I know. I love that stuff. Like
I do too.
It's so cool. Okay, it's just anyway, in my catch up, I listened to the episode about Disney core memories, and this topic really struck me as I've grown up with Disney in my life. I want to leave a few of them with you, more than the characters of X will allow. Okay, one, as a kid, I watched the VHS tape of The Little Mermaid so much that I literally wore the tape out and needed it replaced. My mom said I would come home from school and watch it every day for weeks on end. There's something about The Little Mermaid VHS, right? For like a generation, because with Paige, it was the same thing. It was that Little Mermaid VHS. And I remember, honestly, the core memory I have with that tape is one time we drove with her friend Molly. This was the time we took Molly, her best friend, with us to Walt Disney World. Still can't believe their parents let us take her. They were like 7. And they let us take their daughter to Walt Disney World for a week. Like that was crazy. Like they were 7. Anyway, we didn't have a nice car at the time. So we borrowed my in-laws. They had a Monte Carlo. And it wasn't a big car, right? It was like a hot, souped up sports car, but it was like had less miles. So they let us, not less miles, the old football coach, but it had fewer miles. And SEC people will get that. Anyway, I was going to ring the bell, but I got some other stuff pulled up on the board. Anyway, so we drove this souped up, really sweet Monte Carlo, which could probably go 200 miles an hour if I would have wanted it to, down to Walt Disney World. So it was not big though. Molly and Paige are in the back seat, and we had this is how old we are, right? We didn't have even DVD players for the car at the time. We had a portable VHS player.
Oh my god!
It was like big, like it was huge, and it hung on the seat. And we stuck that dang tape down in there, and they would actually they plugged into the cigarette lighter. Again, another obsolete thing. I guess you call it a power thing now. I don't know. But we plug that in and we'd say, and they would watch the movie all the way through and they'd sing all the songs, her and Molly. And we, when the movie be over after about an hour and 45 minutes, they'd rewind the tape and we'd be like, okay, we'll be in Walt Disney World in like 7 more Little Mermaids. And so that's how we told them how far we were until we got there. But I mean, that's my core memory. They would sing, the little, the Part of My World song. They would just yell that out from the back seat. But I mean, you probably have core memories with that movie as well, because that was like Hannah's age too, because Hannah and Paige are the same age.
Yeah, 100%. There was something about opening up that clamshell, right? Getting out the tape, putting it in. There's really something about those movies, Little Mermaid, Beauty of the Beast, those movies where they had such fantastic songs in addition to the movies. And I'm not saying that, the ones today don't have fantastic songs too. They do, but there was something very special about that time when you had Howard Ashman and Alan Menken doing every movie that had those songs. They got stuck in your head. Your kids loved them. You loved them. You didn't mind hearing them 8 million times because you did hear them 8 million times. It was you know, that just was really a revival age, I think, for the Disney movies. And it was a good thing to be a part of. So,
Oh, hang on. Somebody's got his hand up here in the studio. But kill me. Goofy, you got something to add?
You forgot one of the better movies of that time.
Okay. What movie?
The Goofy movie.
I never saw it.
But I do like The Little Mermaid. Sebastian, he would taste good with a lot of butter.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. Trisha continues. Let me finish her email. During the first family trip to Disney World, my brother was about 3 or 4 and Pocahontas had recently been released. My brother was obsessed with Miko, the raccoon from the movie. We had so many close encounters with him to try to get our autograph book signed, but missed him at least 3 times. Sounds like the fall in Missouri. We're always trying to miss raccoons around here. My brother got so mad that he signed Miko's name, aka scribbled it, in his autograph book. Thankfully, we were able to meet Miko before the end of his trip. I think her brother probably maybe doing 7 to 10 for forgery.
That's right. Disney takes that seriously.
Just kidding. 3, she says, we returned to Disney World years later when Animal Kingdom opened. I still remember seeing the Tree of Life for the first time. It gave me goosebumps. So what do you, because, you know, I don't remember like going back when like a whole new theme park was a thing, because I was kind of going as Animal Kingdom was becoming a thing. That was kind of all at the same time for me. But what about you? Like, I mean, Trisha had those, you know, she was going as they were getting the new, you know, Animal Kingdom park, a whole new kind of beast of a theme park. What do you remember?
It really was. So it was in 1998 when it first opened, and I absolutely remember, I think we went that year to go to the park and to see what it was all about. And I think especially for Animal Kingdom, it was a completely different park. And they, in the very beginning, they really struggled with people thinking like it was a zoo, right? Remember they had that whole campaign. It was not a zoo.
Not the zoo.
Right. Yes. And I think for anyone who went there and saw it, you knew it was not a zoo, right? Because the way that you could interact with animals in a whole new and different way, I think was very apparent from the very beginning. I think that Disney just did some things that so many of us had not seen before. The safari is, I think, still one of the great rides at Disney. The fact that you have that interaction with the animals, that you can see their different behaviors, that you get that close. I've had so many safari rides where the giraffes were right there, or the rhinoceros right there.
Yeah, I mean, because it really does. That's where the mission works. That it's a theme park, but it makes you care about the animals beyond when you leave the theme park. Because when you see a giraffe up close, you want to protect the species in your everyday choices you make in life, right? You don't want to see giraffes go extinct because of some boneheaded thing you do every day at your house. Yeah, I think that's where the mission of the conservation message, at least for me, that's how it works, right? Because it makes me want to, if it means that I got to recycle a little bit more so that giraffes can live and not go extinct, I will go, because I had some kind of close interaction, because wow, that was a majestic animal, you know, because I was close to it. I got to have an experience. Same thing over at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you know, when you're out there in your savannah, or you're not out in the savannah, you're out in your balcony. Hopefully you're not. I mean, I saw the dude jump into the World Showcase Lagoon in Italy for like a bet. Dummy.
Yes.
Yeah. Hang on. Goofy, could you take care of that guy?
Certainly. Next year, that dude is not getting in World Showcase Lagoon, I promise you.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Yes, he's not going to be anywhere near a Disney park. I'm sure he got banned for
I
life.
don't think so either. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so it did that. And I love that about it. Plus it had like some really thrilling attractions and some brand new, lands and things like that. And I will say we spent a couple of nights at the Animal Kingdom Lodge because I hadn't been there in a while. It had been a little bit, and I'm not sure why. And it's like I almost had forgotten how spectacular it is to sit out there in your balcony and look at the animals. In fact, anytime we're in the room, we were both like, okay, what's out there now? Like, I want to go see it. Like, what's doing it? And Steve would be like, oh, come out here. The giraffe are out here.
I mean, Pam, I remember last time we stayed there, she's like, I've never seen a giraffe lay down or like sit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've only seen them stand ever at the zoo, because I guess, like, I don't know. I was like, you know what? You're right. I've never seen a giraffe other than, like, you know, stand. And it was, you know, we're like losing our minds that the giraffe like sat down. I'm like, but it makes sense. Do you stand 24/7? I mean, I'd be tired. They sit, I guess. Yeah. It's weird.
That's what happened to us too. Steve woke up in the morning and he went outside and it was still really dark out, and the giraffe was laying down right there, like in front of our window. He's like, come on, the giraffe's laying down. So of course then you're out there. I like, how many people do they see in their pajamas every day? But you know, you're in the privacy of your own balcony. It's really cool. But just to see the movement of animals throughout the day, the different animals that show, I mean, it just reminded me of that. And it really took a lot of what was great about the Animal Kingdom and sort of, you know, moved it to the Animal Kingdom Lodge in that space too, like that love of the animals and all of that. So I think they've done a great job. I like how they've sort of reinvented attractions and, you know, done that over the years. So yeah, Animal Kingdom, man, it's hard to believe that it's like opened in the not too distant past. So
God, it's still a ways. It's pretty good. All right. So she has 2 more points. This is parent taking Lorelei to Disney World for the first time at age 4 was pretty magical, but the number one moment that stood out was watching Happily Ever After while my husband held her in his arms. I promise we were not the shoulder riders so as to not block anyone's view. Her mouth hung open the entire time, and she audibly whispered, "Best day ever."
Aww.
I mean, right there, dude. Okay? Forget about the Tree of Life. That just gave me goosebumps right there.
Right?
I've met Lorelei in the family, and they are the sweetest people. And just knowing, I mean, this is the commercial though. Like, dude, I could see the commercial, like random people on TV with like some background song playing that's like a pop song, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's awesome. Like, Disney's great at this, but you know. The fireworks, like people watching the fireworks at Disney, like get me every time. Like right now, I'm thinking about, I got goosebumps just reading that.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's why we do what we do, honestly. Yes. And the last one says, finally, when she was old enough to sit through a movie at the movie theater, we took her to a re-showing of Frozen. It came out the year she was born, so it's kind of her Little Mermaid. She insisted on wearing her Elsa dress and saying every song during the movie. At the end of the movie, she ran down to the front of the theater and danced/twirled to the end credit music. It's one of the only times we stayed until the very end of the movie. Sorry for the length of the email, but I had to share these. I know you say it can be hard to come up with new content for the show for as long as it has been running, but years later, it can still trigger powerful emotions, and I appreciate the heart that goes into each episode. Thanks for your hard work and dedication, Trisha. And she says, P.S. If I were CEO for a day, I would put a ride photo on Big Thunder Mountain. Most of the other larger attractions have this, and it just feels like something is missing. They used to have it. It was right there. Oh, no, Splash had it. Did Big Thunder ever have it? Splash had it.
I can't remember Big Thunder ever having
No, Big Thunder didn't have. I was thinking of the Splash thing because it was in that, you know, kind of the same theme there. It was the barrels. It was Splash. They should have it. That's a good idea.
It was, yeah, those are great. I love hearing the memories, and I love seeing what people would do if they were CEO. I think that's a cool thing.
And we're going to talk about some cool stuff on Friday that you got to do down at your meetings last week, which will be pretty cool. We're going to talk about it. So stay tuned. Okay, next email, Julie, my good friend from Scotland who tunes in from across the pond over there. Hey, Mike, it's Julie from Scotland here. My emails, she just kept bouncing back, but here's what she says. She says, I loved Kevin's story about how cast members from your hometown on the Lister Question Show this week. I once met a cast member in the Emporium on Main Street, USA, who was from my hometown of Irvine here in Scotland. Not only that, he had the same name as my eldest son. What are the chances? I could not believe my eyes when I spotted his name tag. You say you'd be surprised how many people from your area he meets, which is so cool. Have a great weekend and take care, Julie in Scotland. That is one of the craziest things. If you pay attention on your Walt Disney World vacation and you look, I do this all the time. I'm just always like peeping it out. I love to see when because different promotions, sometimes like, like they used to have like your favorite character, your favorite movie sometimes, but a lot of times it will have like sometimes it's your college, if your college program, but it'll say your hometown. And I love that. And I love seeing if you see somebody that says like, Florissant, like, what are the chances somebody, is a cast member from Florissant? I like, because it's a great conversation starter. Even if it says Missouri, St. Louis, it automatically gives you a connection. Have you ever had that kind of thing happen to you, Pam?
100%. I look all the time. And if you're from Pennsylvania, I'm like, I bet you aren't sad you live here now. Like, no, I am not. In fact, I've never had anyone say, no, I wish I was living back in Pennsylvania. So, I mean, I like seeing that too. It's always good to see where people are from. And I usually will say, what side of the state are you from and all that. So it's a great way to make a connection there for sure. And that's what it's all about. So.
All right. Our good friend Matt says, hey, Mike and crew, I'm heading down to Disney World the first week of March in 2024. And we're staying at Boulder Ridge Villas at Wilderness Lodge. My family and I'll be renting a car from the airport and parking at the resort for the entire stay. My sister and her boyfriend will be driving from North Carolina and also be parking their vehicle there. Are you able to park 2 vehicles under 1 reservation at the resort? I know resorts are strict with parking these days. Thanks for the help. Matt Z from New Jersey. Did I do that right? Jersey. I can't. I'm from the Midwest. I can't do that very well. But I think you'll be fine because, one, they're not charging for parking at the resorts anymore. So it's not quite as tight. And just what I would do is just make sure the other people are on the reservation. You'll really be set. Right?
Yep. That's the thing. Yeah. You all need to be on the reservation. And, it's actually one of the things I was thinking about this. While you don't need to have a magic band, that you can use your phone and whatnot, I still find it to be one of the easier things to do when you get back to your resort. They usually have a lane for returning guests, and you can tap your magic band and the gate opens. And also, I will say, getting into your room, you can use your phone to do it. The magic band is much, much faster.
The phone thing is cool though. When it works,
it is.
I'm the dad from the Carousel of Progress.
Right.
When it works, it does the little like pixie dust thing, right?
Yes.
It looks really cool. And it used to be super reliable, but my last couple trips, it's been less reliable on the phone. And I could be just a crapshoot, and I could just be like, they say like in roulette, like don't look at the board. The board's like the sucker thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's like red, and you're like, dude, the next one has to be black because it's been red 8 times in a row. Nope, they're independent of each other. I don't gamble because I do not want to, especially on sports. Scott does, and I'm like, I can't have any more stress in sports other than I just want my team to win. If I had money on this, I'd be a dead man because I couldn't take anymore. But like, all that gambling stuff, they always say like, don't look at the board because like, it doesn't matter if it's hit 8 times on red. That 9th roll has nothing to do with the previous 8 times. It's independent,
right.
But this whole thing, like maybe I'm just on a bad streak. No, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I do like using my phone, but you're right. The Magic Band, I think, works better, but I like the little animation. I'm a sucker for tech.
I know, but think about it. You have to open your app, then get to that section, then hold it up, and then do it. But I agree. It's a cool thing when it works.
I wish they would. Here's another wish I have. Speaking of being CEO for a day, by the way, thanks, Trisha. Apple Watches. Disney should use Apple Watches more. Like they could do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like when they first came out, I remember saying this. There's a couple things. They're just random stuff here today. Oh, wait. Goofy's got something to say. Hang on, Goofy. But Apple Watches should be able to do a ton. Like you should just be able to like tap things because you got that RFID in your Apple Watch, like with Apple Pay. Just woo, 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 everywhere, lightning lanes. Don't you think? Yeah. Like my Disney should be right there on your watch. It should be a magic band, basically.
100%. I think that there is something to that, but there's a product that they're selling.
I know that thing. It's a revenue source. Everything is a revenue source. But come on, but then you could sell more Apple Watch bands.
There you go.
You know,
I don't
I'm trying
know.
to think. How can we spin this? Oh, okay, hang on, dude. He's got it. He's in my. Dude, get out of my mini fridge. He's taking one of my Coke Zeros. I'm back off, dude. Hey, he's got something else to add.
I have a suggestion too.
Okay, dude, but quit drinking my Coke Zeros, man. I didn't say. I know your season's over and you're kicking back because it's like almost Christmas and like you don't chase people with chainsaws at Christmas, do you?
Well, every once in a while.
Okay, but what's your suggestion?
Well, I have been listening to the podcast for quite a while. And a long time ago, you had this suggestion, which I can't believe Disney hasn't done by now.
Okay, I'll bite. What is it?
They need to put wireless chargers in the tables at table service restaurants. They want you to use your phone all day, all night to check everything. Why not just sit your phone on the table and it's a big wireless charger?
Dude, Goofy with the chainsaw is a genius. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Guy's a genius. I'm just saying.
He is.
Yeah, okay. All right. How about one more question? I'm gonna get Goofy out of here. I'll be out of sodas. All right. This one is from Mary in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Mike. Hello from Raleigh, North Carolina. I have a question about my trip I'm planning in December and knew you and the team could help. We're attending Disney World on what promises to be a very busy day. Dude, Goofy, he's bugging me. After spending our arrival day at Animal Kingdom Lodge, a new experience for us, we plan to begin our first full day at Animal Kingdom and park hop to Hollywood Studios. The next 3 nights will be at the boardwalk. It looked like a perfect plan until I realized using Genie Plus at Hollywood Studios, the second part of the day may be difficult. When am I allowed to begin stacking lightning lanes for the evening? Will I have to wait until 2 o'clock when I can park hop, or just the return times are 2 o'clock or later? Will I even be allowed to purchase an individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance? I'm beginning to think my brilliant plan may not be so clever after all, since crowds are anticipated to be so high. Any advice you and your team might have about enjoying crowded days will be appreciated. Thank you. Your collective experiences have been very helpful navigating these last few years of change. Mary in Raleigh. First of all, you're going to have a great time. 2 great resorts, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Boardwalk, Home Run, and Home Run. Good job. But give her some advice. Talk her through this, Pam.
So you do not have to wait until park hopping, until you're in the other park to start making individual lightning lane or lightning lane reservations. You just have to make them after the park hopping time starts. So that's the good news for that. So you can stack other things as long as they're still available. There's still times available. And as long as you are free to make another lightning lane reservation, then you should be good to go with that. And I know that a lot of people do use that option for using Genie Plus and the lightning lanes that you can get with Genie Plus. The thing with the Rise of the Resistance can be a little trickier, because for that first time that it opens up, you have to have reservations and for that park. And at the 1 o'clock time, you have to be in the park to actually make those reservations, which you won't be able to do because of the, yeah. So, the other thing I was going to suggest, since you're staying at 2 deluxe resorts, is will you be there in the evening hours for any of the parks, to make sure you take that into consideration too, because, excuse me, when there's individual lightning lanes, you can actually make those in the park after that time too. So consider that as well.
Yeah. And obviously when it's busy, and if it is busy on the day that you're there in December, rope drop if you can. Hop out midday, especially if you're going to be at the boardwalk, Hollywood Studios, Epcot. You can just walk right back to your resort. You know, you got great dining options, you know, jump in somewhere, have those ADRs set. Counter service options are abundant in World Showcase. There's great counter service options at the studios. But I think you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, definitely. Don't.
At all.
I know this is like one. So we actually went down there and we met. Steve's boss was actually there with her family the last time we were there. So we spent a day with them, and they were telling us like they were all like had watched videos and read all the information we set and everything about the Genie Plus stuff. They're like, but there's really no way to know it, all the little ins and outs of it until you're there doing it. And I think that's what we try to communicate to people. We try to give them a bunch of information, but like things just have a way of working out, right? And once you're there and sort of playing with the system a little bit, you sort of see how to best utilize it. So
I agree. I mean, it sounds really complicated,
right?
Like home when because I mean, so many blog articles and
yes,
it is. I mean, it seems like you got to have a degree, like in calculus, figured out. But then 5-10 minutes hands on with it, but it's like, oh, this is pretty simple. It's just picking it when it pops open and stuff. It's not
100%.
People use it every day. It's not that difficult. Anyway.
Exactly.
So have a great trip, Mary, and let us know how it goes. And that's going to about do it for today. So good stuff, Pam. Appreciate it. Yeah. Hang on. I got one last question for Goofy here before he ducks out, because I just got to know. All right, so Goofy, real quick before you jump out, are you leaving? Because I got to ask you a question before you jump out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like I said, last night was my busy night of the year, and this is my off season now.
Okay, so do you do anything like now that Halloween's over? What do you do like during the holiday season, like at Christmas? Like what's your go-to thing?
I really shouldn't say, but my thing is I go around and I unplug inflatables in people's front yards.
That's pretty.
I believe that.
It's pretty awesome. All right, Goofy. Well, hey, thanks for helping us out with listener questions today.
No problem. Happy Thanksgiving. All right.
See you. Okay. So that's going to do it for today's show. Great to have a special guest answering listener questions with us today. That was fun, Pam. That, lock the doors, I guess. This is the lesson.
Yeah, beware.
I don't know. Who knows who'll join us on Friday. We might even have another special guest on the podcast. It won't be Goofy with the chainsaw. Probably somebody with like clean teeth. We'll see. All right. So we are going to have a good time on Friday talking about I've got a lot of Disney news we're going to hit. And Pam's going to talk to us about some great stuff that she brought back from Walt Disney World last week. So we're going to get some insider information. But thanks for hopping on with us. Of course, all of our shows brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. We're going to give you first class service each and every trip. Doesn't matter if it's a quick weekend down there for room only. You just want to kick back and sit on your balcony and look at the giraffes and be like, oh my gosh, giraffes lay down. That's cool. We can take care of you there. Or if you want to go for, almost 2 weeks with tickets and dining plans and all this stuff, it doesn't matter. Every trip, no additional cost to you. We're going to give you first class service every time. That's our goal. That's what we do. So just go over there, check that out. Disney Cruises. I have a guest who's so excited to be sailing on the Disney Wonder down in Sydney. He's like, Mike, because he obviously lives down there. He's like, he sent me a picture of the beautiful ship arriving in Sydney at his office. I'm like, that is so cool. The big bridge in the background, the Sydney Opera House. He's going to be sailing on her here shortly. So we took care of that. He's going to get to enjoy that ship. I mean, it is so cool to be able to help people go to the Disney destinations literally all around the world. Adventures by Disney. Go out to Disneyland. We're going to talk about Disneyland on Friday because they just announced another race. This one might have Goofy with a chainsaw chasing you.
It might.
Oh my gosh, who knows? But we're going to be having a good time. We just want to help you get to the Disney destinations, and it really supports the show. It's kind of a win-win-win. You're going to get first-class service, pay nothing extra, support the show. Everybody wins. Magicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online, especially during this holiday season. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons. You guys make all this possible. I thank you so much for that. Starting at just $5 a month, and you'll get that bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Coming over patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give us all a follow on the social media. I'm at BeOurGuestMike. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. Scott's at Epscott, EPSCOT. Ricky's a little bit under the weather this week, but she's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS, Threads, Instagram, Twitter/X. Give us a follow. We'd love to talk to you. And of course, this Sunday night, we'll have the BOGP open line where we open up the phone lines and just talk to you. We enjoy that. It's a great way to wrap the weekend and just talk to you guys. we have so much fun just talking Disney with our listeners. So join us 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central this Sunday night, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. All right, we'll be back again on Friday, and we're gonna have a fun show, a variety of topics, but always fun. So come on back and subscribe to the show, and if you don't mind, a quick 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get the show would really, really help us out this week. So thank you for that. All right, so for Pam, I'm Mike. Wish you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let me save that. Hide the teeth. Oh, wait,
we can't hear you.
I think you're muted. You are muted.
I am muted. I didn't know. Like I came on like coughing. I didn't want to like. I figured I wouldn't be on, but because you got to tell me when I'm on.
Are you good? We had Goofy with Goofy came in there hot.
Yeah,
I didn't even tell Pam.
I'll tell you what though. Like I feel kind of dizzy. Like how they sit you back like in the chair.
Yeah.
Like normally they put like at 90 degrees. I felt like I was like at 70 degrees. Like I felt like I was like kind of upside down. Like it just like it didn't feel good. But I almost said something too, but she was kind of like flying through. I'm like, all right, whatever. She's in the zone. I'm not gonna like have her like change my positioning.
She's in the zone. As long as you get them all done.
No, and then like the doctor guy, because I've known him my whole life. I've been going to the same dentist, and he's still like the main doctor. So he was just talking to me about like Hawaii and all that. So I see him twice a year. So why not?
Red dirt. It's got red dirt, man.
We had Goofy with a chainsaw.
Oh, all right. I caught a little tail end of that. It was interesting.
It was stupid. It was so dumb.
Yeah.
Because
So when your ratings go down, you'll know why, Mike. It won't be because of me and Pam.
Goofy with the chainsaw.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was awful. But what are you gonna do?
What did you say we're going to talk about? Like just random stuff?
Yeah, so we'll talk about Did you see that Disney and Run Disney announced a Halloween race for Disneyland?
Yeah, I had a lot of people blowing my phone up today about that. Yeah.
Okay, so what the weather was for that weekend last year? 95 degrees.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, that's when the Dumble there normally is, and I ran that like twice, and it's always like 100 degrees that weekend.
So we're gonna talk about that. I mean, we'll talk about that. Also, just a couple things on the calendar that are interesting with Run Disney for the next season. We're also going to talk. Pam's going to talk about what she did down at the conference because she got
nice
cool stuff. We'll talk about that Pixar Pier hotel that's opening at the end of January. The refurb of that Paradise Pier.
Okay.
Is that what it's called? Paradise.
Pixar Pier. It used to be Paradise Pier.
It's Paradise now. It's going to be right.
No, it's going to be Pixar.
Yeah, it's going to be Pixar, but it's Paradise now, right?
Yes.
Why does it not sound right?
Because it has the Pixar Pier as like that whole section.
Yeah, it used to be Paradise Pier, like NDCA, like where California Screaming.
It still is Paradise Pier, I believe.
I think it's called Pixar Place or something, isn't it? Or
Pixar Place. Yeah. Pixar Pier is the section of
what's the hotel called?
Grand California, or now you're.
I'm confused.
California Adventure.
Nothing sounds right now. All of a sudden, like for some reason, hang on. It's Paradise.
It's Pixar Place is going to be the name.
Paradise Pier is what it is right now. See,
Paradise Pier is what it is right now.
Yeah, that's what it's always been.
But it's going to be Pixar Pier.
Yeah, because it ties into like because they changed the pier in DCA to Pixar or something.
Pixar Place,
I think. Yeah.
Dude, so
I don't know. Too many P's and
yeah, it is. It's like nothing.
Keep it that Paradise Pier. It was awesome. It was Paradise Pier.
Cool.
I know.
Because they had to change it to like an Incredible Coaster, like which I'm not the biggest fan of, but
it's a fun ride though.
But like they're shouting in your ear the whole time about like I miss the old like whimsical soundtrack that they used to have.
Yeah, I never got to do that. I'd rather have that though. That'd be more fun. All right, let's do this. We'll just kind of make it up as we go.
Sweet.
All right, here we go. 2383 for Friday. There's no holiday on Friday or anything, is there? No, I don't think so. All right.
Every day's a holiday.
I wish. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2383 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. We sure are here in the Show Me State. It is 24 hours until my Missouri Tigers take on those dogs down in Georgia. And we get to see what we have. We get to test our mettle against the team that has won 25 games in a row, 2 national championships. But I believe in my soul that we can do it this year. My 14th ranked Tigers. We're going to go down to Athens and we're going to come home with a big fat W. That's right. I know all the dog fans are just laughing their butts off right now as they hear me say that, but it's going to happen. I believe. I'm a Tiger through and through. And man, that's what football is all about. It's about believing in your squad, believing in your school. We'll see. I'm just setting myself up for a lot of pain on Saturday night. I've been a Mizzou fan my whole life, and this is how it's going to go. But I feel it. I feel it in my bones. We'll see. But to get us there, we're going to have some fun talking about a variety of Disney topics. So much fun to talk about with my great friends. Starting off with Pam Forrester. She's the coder of the Magic for Less Travel and going to kind of be the star of the show because she's back from Walt Disney World with lots to talk about today. Pam, happy Friday. Any big plans for this weekend back in Pennsylvania?
Happy Friday. I want like some fall festivities. We're on the hunt for some fall festivities. So I don't know what that involves here. It's like pumpkins and apple cider and stuff like that. So I don't know. Trying to make it festive this year.
I figured up in Forrester headquarters it'd be all on decorating for Christmas.
Yes. That will happen. That will happen throughout this week. Trees have already started being taken out. We're checking the lights. We're, making sure that all things, but yes, all the trees will be up very soon. So
good. The earth is healing. Everything's good. Everything's how it should be.
Yes, Christmas music will be playing as we speak.
I love Christmas music more than anything. But I've been wanting to listen to it for like a couple weeks, but I know that like it gets mellowed down if you listen to it too soon. So I've been holding off so hard because like I have Sirius XM right with all the channels, and on the app they're there. But I try to wait until they officially launch them on the actual physical radio because that's like a big deal. So I'm trying to hold on.
I go back into the archives. There is so much Christmas music at my house. In fact, my brother-in-law at one point took the Christmas albums that we used to listen to and recorded them digitally for us, like transpose them into digital files, skips and all. It is the best. I love it. I play those, the Firestone compilations that either my mom or my grandmother had gotten at some point, right? I guess you probably had to, I don't know, get a fill up or tires or something, but there were
like the tire company.
Yes. Goodyear, all of those things. So yeah. But yes, those ones with the skips in them from childhood were just fantastic. So love those.
That's perfect for me. That album that I have to listen to every year, like we listened to constantly as a kid, was the Gatlin Brothers.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
That was kind of like Gatlin Brothers Christmas. Like when I hear that, it's officially Christmas.
All right, they're Goodyear. Sorry, they're Goodyear. Firestone.
They're with tires, man. It's
right.
You're all about like the rubber hitting the road.
Exactly.
All right. So. Also joining us today, unfortunately, Goofy with the chainsaw had to go apparently on Plug Inflatable starting anybody that put him out early, but glad to have him out of here so I can keep my Coke Zeros. It's your friend and mine, and everybody's excited to have him. Hashtag Scotty G up in Michigan. Scott, happy Friday. Thanks for coming on today.
Happy Friday, Mike. Happy Friday, Pam. I loved your story you were just saying, Pam, about transferring those old records to digital, because that's something I miss in the digital world, right? Is like you don't have that little scratch or that pop. I love the pop noise that an album would bring in. So I'm very jealous that you have those recreated files. That is so awesome.
It is. There's some songs that are not the same without them. Yes. Like, I don't even know what they're supposed to sound like because we skip over part of it or the pops are in. So I was like, oh, that's what that song is.
Like something's missing.
Verse?
Yeah, for sure. But happy to be here on a Friday to talk some Disney, my favorite topic. I was traveling, then Pam was traveling. I'm excited to hear about her visit with that conference. I saw Jocelyn I was liking everything she was sharing and just looked so awesome, all the news. So I'm excited to hear about that and talk some Disney topics today.
So real quick, Scott, what's your Christmas like album that gets you like one album real quick? Just
one album.
Early,
Like,
but I mean, the one that you.
I mean, I like some traditional like Andy Williams, like Christmas music. I mean, so I had to restrain too, like you two. Well, Pam, I know Pam listens to Christmas music all year long. It could be June or May as she's listening to it. I tried to restrain kind of like you are, Mike. Like it's not really Christmas until I hear Andy Williams, you know? Yep. And so like I try to hold off as long as I can. It might be a couple more weeks, but once I hear Andy Williams, then I'm all in. Then I gotta like get all the records out at that point.
I agree. Now I'm trying to hold off, and then we could Whamageddon everybody here on the podcast. We won't do that. That'd be fun. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple topics I want to make sure that we hit today before we hit like the 45-minute mark. We got to talk about the Run Disney news. So I want to make sure we get that in about the Halloween race, especially because I got thoughts on that. I'm excited, but cautiously excited. Scott's got experience with that. But Pam, first I'm going to talk about your experience down at Walt Disney World because you got to do some cool stuff. So give us some highlights and stuff you learned and stuff you just want to share with our audience, because in the pre-show, before we started recording, you had some really good points and you got to share some cool stuff. So let us know, like, what was that all about when you went down to Walt Disney World last week?
Yeah, I did. So each year Disney has an earmark program owners conference or a summit, as I call it. And an earmarked agency is an agency designated by Disney. They have different levels of earmarked agencies, but you have to reach some certain sales and behavior goals and things like that to be part of the earmarked program or an authorized Disney vacation planner. So that's what we were down for. They always put on a great conference. And I will say they bring in speakers. They bring in outside speakers for us. They also bring in speakers from their own leadership team. We got to see some fantastic panels of people. One of the ones I think that was really impactful for me was they had the vice presidents of each of the 4 parks there. And for those of you who don't know, all 4 of them actually happen to be women. And I think to see that happen in a company, I don't know, it's still a little remarkable at different times, right? I think we're all trying to be inclusive and make sure that folks are representative, but to hear these women speak about it, I think was impactful for me, because no matter who they brought out on stage, anyone who worked for Disney, you heard again and again the same message. And that is that the guest experience and their cast experience is something that's really, really important to them. And I will say that's a message that I've heard over and over and over again as I've been going to these conferences. This company is really dedicated to that point. And I know that there are things that we all wish were different. There are absolutely things that they wish were different, right? There's some pain points I think that they're all sort of struggling with right now. They know that maybe perhaps the app is a little overcomplicated in the system as it is right now. But the fact is that they're working on improving those systems. And I think we're really coming up on a time, Mike, as we talked about, where we're hitting a point next year where some of those pain points are going to be gone. Mm-hmm. And that's fantastic. For most guests, the elimination of the park reservation system is not going to be an issue for them anymore. We're seeing the Disney dining plan back. And so many guests were really looking forward to that. We're going to see some new things happen in the app. They have removed some barriers in the app, but I just feel like the constant reminder that even they're looking at a very complex system, right? We have the park reservation system, the My Disney Experience system, the Genie Plus system, whatnot, that they're constantly trying to make it easier for our guests. And you have to appreciate the dedication to this. It's just something that the company does really well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I know that you guys are too. I mean, you guys don't want to see those barriers there, but I think the park reservations being gone is huge, right? They removed the charge for parking at the resorts. That was huge. Just the fact that they listen. Sometimes it takes a while to see that simplification happen, but the fact that it does happen is a good thing. And you guys know, if you're a big company, it takes a lot longer to make any decision happen. Even if we're all in agreement, right? We're all like, we know that this needs to happen. In a big company, there's layers and layers and layers to go through. So that was huge for me to hear that from them. And I think that 2024 is going to be a fantastic year to visit all the parks and to look at Cruise Line and Alani and Adventures by Disney. And I also got to do a very, very cool thing. So I, because we're a platinum earmarked agency and one of the few in the country, I get the opportunity to sit on Disney's earmarked travel agency council. And there's a small group of us Disney sort of provides some feedback, sometimes gives us a heads up on things, asks for our input. It's just a really cool thing to be a part of. And I feel very fortunate to have that opportunity. One evening they had a special dinner for us, and we were really in a small room of folks. First of all, it was an over-the-top themed dinner. It was themed like Haunted Mansion. And I know, right? And they did a great job.
Council in my head, kind of like the Jedi Council, and like just don't ruin the visual for me. But okay, go ahead. Like with Mace Windu there and like Yoda and everybody.
But as we were there waiting, as Disney spoke to us about some things, and then they had a special guest that they introduced us to, and it was Josh Tomorrow came in and spoke with us, and literally opened up the floor and gave people the opportunity to ask him questions. Period. End of story. There was not like you have to submit your questions in writing 8 days before our legal counsel will go over them, and then you'll be given an answer. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was really a very small and intimate group, and he literally gave us the opportunity to ask questions as needed. And he echoed the sentiment, of course, that everyone else that we had heard done, that he wants to take care of his cast, which I think is always something that you hear from Disney leadership, and he wants to help people make the memories that happen only on vacation. And it's just heartwarming when you hear someone who is in a leadership position like that say those things as their top priority. It's exactly what you want to hear. And it was a great moment, and I'm just really appreciative that I had the opportunity to do that. But it's always a good conference. It's overwhelming. I'm actually processing information now. I took copious notes while I was there, just on everything everyone said. We also got to hear from the first female Thunderbird pilot. Her story was fantastic, right? Yeah, really, it was a very cool experience. We got to hear from a great speaker and author, Kevin Brown, who I've heard in the past, and is just someone who it's just a really great reminder that our lives are sort of all about connections, and maybe that we are each put here on earth to sort of make it a little easier for someone else. I love that thought. I love that. He has a fantastic story that relates to Disney. It's about Aunt Bee and some apple pancakes. The story's on YouTube if you want to YouTube that to see it. But it's great because it's literally a conference where it gives me the opportunity to think about what I want to see for our team, what I want to see for our guests. And sometimes when you're the owner of a company, your everyday gets bogged down in the things that you have to do, and you don't get to do as much blue sky thinking as you would like. And this sort of just gives you the opportunity to start that process again. So really, it was a great conference to be a part of, and I'm glad to be back home for a little bit before I go back down again. So
you got to get ready to do Jollywood Nights.
I know. Hello. Have you seen the food for that alone? Like when they put that out?
You better mail me a Santa Gertie cookie. I don't care.
Santa Gertie.
Put it in bubble wrap. Yes. Send that sucker to St. Louis.
I always think of the Bob Seger song "Hollywood Nights" when I hear Jollywood. I just sing it in my head. Those Jollywood Nights.
If there's not a crossover there, that's a missed opportunity.
No, but you say this, and just real quick on your points, and I love that. For one thing, with Josh Tomorrow there, I know he's like super high level at Disney, right? And so people could be, yeah, he's there, but is he listening? I'm truly of the thought, even with, like I'm super crazy with like college football, right? Like even if you get like 5 seconds with a head coach, right? The head coach isn't going to listen to a fan. But I still think that if you tell somebody passionately what you believe, like we're all humans, right? It gets in their ear, and if it it has to be like in their head. So they have to think about it because you're passionate when you're saying it, and it makes them pause and think about that. And if they hear it enough times, that they have to maybe consider acting on that. And I think that's what that board does, that council does, that this is something that, because you're not representing just Pam Forrester, you're representing all the guests at the Magic for Less and all the agents who hear from all the guests. I mean, it's like, you know, it's coming up, and also, you know, the fellow other agency owners and stuff. And everybody kind of has the same goal, that everybody has a better Disney experience in the parks. And that's his goal. I mean, because when the guests are happy, that's good for Walt Disney World. Everybody's happy, right? I mean, that everybody wants to go back, and everybody has a better experience. Everybody evangelizes their vacations. I mean, it's win-win-win, right? I mean, is that not the overall goal of everybody?
Absolutely. And the fact is, he came the next day and spoke to all of the agency owners there too. So I just, you know, I can only imagine that Josh is kind of a busy guy. So to take time out of his life, his work, whatever, to come speak to us at dinner, and then the next day come speak to us at the conference, I think was, you know, just sort of a credit that to him, and that he values our input in the experiences that we're seeing. And I know that that's true, that Disney, you know, has shown, the Disney research has shown, when a guest books with a knowledgeable travel agent, they have a better experience. And that's what we're all moving towards, right? We want that to be the case. And I mean, there are lots of different reasons for that, but it's good that they're listening to what we say.
And they are making changes for the guest experience to become better. Scott and I were talking about this actually with listener Jared, our good friend, who's actually, you know, covering the World Series down. He was in Phoenix when he called in. He's got twin girls, and he hadn't been to the, you know, he's veteran of the parks, but hadn't been since before COVID. And now he's going back with twin girls. He's like, Scott and Mike, help me out, man. I know the parks, but I don't know the parks with twin girls. I don't know. I'm a dad now, and you know, I'm going with kids. And we called in, and I'm like, you know, we kind of talked through this, Scott and I, on Sunday night. And when we thought about it, we're like, honestly, going now, because he's going, you know, in the early 2024, like, you kind of missed all the pain points. You know what I'm saying, Scott? Remember this? Because like, he's going to miss park reservations, and he's going to miss all the hardships of, you know, no dining plan to choose from, and all these, you know, restrictions that we had to go through, like, to get the parks back open. Right now is kind of everything's moving in the right direction for guests. I think
longer park hours too, because he's going to need to take those breaks with those twins, you know. So like jumping in or park hopping with ease, you know, maybe you want to park hop earlier in the day or whatever. So yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome trip for him. It's going to feel similar but different in a way too, because there's so much. That was a crazy thing. That's how Walt Disney World like evolved so much. It's been like 3 or 4 years, like doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a lot with Walt Disney World. There's so many like attractions and experiences he hasn't even seen himself yet. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So I think, you know, right now, if you're getting ready to go to the parks and you haven't been for, you know, not even that long of a period of time, you're going at the right time. Things are, I mean, you got so many new experiences. I mean, Epcot in the next 6 months is going to be just, you're going to walk in and be like, I didn't recognize the place.
Yeah.
I know.
Like when you see Spaceship Earth at night, I mean, tell me that isn't stunning if you've never seen the Beacon of Light show. That is
the Moana section at night. So we
The
got to
problem
see
with
it
me
during
is
the
I
day.
always enter Epcot through the Skyliner at night. So now I got to work harder to see those things.
Do.
That's the problem.
You do. So we did have the opportunity to experience Moana during the day and also at night. And first of all, I think that we all sort of agree. We love this kind of thing to see at the parks, as sort of edutainment. It's really, I mean, it's at the heart of what Epcot really was meant to be. And it is all those things, and it is fun, and it will be fun for kids of all ages. And it is stunningly beautiful at night. I mean, it's like they were almost thinking about what it might look like.
Look on Instagram. We're thinking of this from day one.
Right? I know. And it absolutely was that. So I was really glad to have that opportunity to see that too. And I also want to say we had the opportunity to travel with some friends who have a 2-year-old. And we spent, are you ready for this, folks? A day at the Magic Kingdom with them. I mean, park opening till in the late afternoon, like near dinner time. And it was really good to be there and see all those things and see how, first of all, Genie Plus really helped them. that they moved with ease from attraction to attraction, choosing the next lightning lane that they could with Genie Plus, and just got so much done and didn't have to wait in line that much. Like, we were with them the whole day and just sort of moved our way through all the attractions. And it was really great to see that, as someone who, myself, I don't always use Genie Plus because we're there so often and we're not at Magic Kingdom a ton. It was really great to see how good it can actually work for guests. And this was their first time using it. And they really said they felt like they were experts, as they were wrapping up their trip. So anyways, that was really cool to see too. It was a great experience, great reminder how, some of these things are working perfectly for some people. And so something to think about.
My best advice I give guests is don't underestimate yourself. I think a lot of my guests get so stressed out pre-trip because they think, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much. Like, when you get down there, you got to remember, people with way less preparation than you navigate Walt Disney World every day and pretty much do it successfully. They might not make always the best choices, but they come home and they say they have a good trip. You, just by listening to a podcast, you're 90% ahead of everybody else. And you probably have read a blog in a guidebook. You're already there. Like, trust me, you're going to be fine. I know we all stress about the minute details, and that's kind of just our personalities. And I'm not talking about just us three. I'm talking about our audience. That's who we are. You're going to be fine. Like, I love that we all want to sweat the most minute detail, but really, you're going to come home. You're going to have a great time. That's kind of my fatherly advice for everybody right now. But let's kind of shift gears. Come and talk about this. Earlier this week, we found out the 2024-2025 Run Disney schedule, which, by the way, Scott did this on Sunday night because the show went crazy. The show was going wild, and we forgot to congratulate everybody on the Marine Corps Marathon finishers, and Scott did that for us, so I appreciate that. People did 50K, Scott.
I know. Insane.
50K. That is ridiculous. That 50K. I mean, that's like going
31 miles. That's
and
a
it's
lot.
like overshooting the finish line on a marathon. Dude, what? That is,
it's like Forrest Gump and just be like, I just keep going.
I don't like running. That's wild. So congratulations to everybody that did all the miles out at the Marine Corps, because I've heard that thing. I was watching on Twitter a little bit, and I know it was super hot, super humid. Some people didn't get all the way done, and I know they cut a part of the course during the race called the Gauntlet. I'm like, okay, this race is hard anyway, and there's a section called the Gauntlet. I'm like, what? No, no thanks. And it's run by the Marines. I'm like, okay, anyway, it sounds like just trying to kill you. But congratulations, everybody, with that. But back to the Run Disney stuff. I think the biggest news that we found out about this schedule is that there is going to be a new race weekend in the next season. And it's going to be a Halloween-themed race in Disneyland over, it looks like Labor Day weekend, September 5 to 8.
It's the following weekend after Labor Day, I'm pretty sure.
It's following after Labor Day?
I think Labor Day is kind of early this year.
Is it? Okay, I just guessed it was Labor Day, but I didn't look at the calendar. That's what I
think so. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I haven't looked. I'm guessing you're probably right. But when you saw the news, what was your first thought? Because you've run Disneyland, because you said this was the same weekend as Dumbo Double Dare back in the day. Earlier.
Yeah, so Dumbo Double Dare was always the Labor Day weekend. So this is the following weekend after that for 2024. And I love that race weekend. The only problem was it was extremely hot. And I've been to Disneyland, I think 2 or 3 times over Labor Day weekend, and it is always hot that weekend. So that's why I think that's the hot topic right on Twitter and social media is that, holy cow, that's awesome they chose a Halloween race. Why did they choose it that weekend when it's enormously warm? And my first thought was, why couldn't they just make Wine and Dine a Halloween race weekend? Because that is always over. Like, look at the calendar, Mike. Tomorrow, as recording is Halloween and Wine and Dine's happening. Why can't it happen that weekend?
I know. So what scale of 1 to 10, what's your temptation of signing up for this one?
Unfortunately, it's going to be a 0 because as much as I would love to do it, Emily is going to be a senior when that happens. And she can't miss a football game. I can't miss one of her last football games, so I can't take that chance without knowing the football schedule for high school. So I'm kind of bummed about it, but I'm going to have to pass. If there's a virtual option, I might do that because I love inaugural medals, and I'm sure they're going to be like really cool. They're probably like Oogie Boogie or something on the medals. but I'm gonna have to go virtual, unfortunately, with that one.
Same.
What about you?
It's killing me because I have a rule. I learned this rule like 2 years ago. I do not sign up for races during football season. I just don't, because I have all my obligations here with high school football, and of course we have season tickets for Mizzou, and that's like the one thing I'm at least as equally passionate with Disney is college football. And you only get so many games, right? You get 8 games, 7 games at college football a year. In high school, you get maybe 6 home games. We go to all the away games. And Mallory's a cheerleader, so we go to those. And the thing you'll learn is when your kid gets into high school, like, Scott, I mean, for the kids, for all the parents listening out there that have kids like in elementary school right now, it goes so fast, especially when they hit like middle and high school, dude. It just goes warp speed. It is, I mean, it's unbelievably fast. So you got to savor those times. Like, those races will be there. And I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I get that. I'm not gonna be able to run these races very much longer, but you got to enjoy your kids. And I think you're making the right call, but God, this race sounds so awesome.
It's painful because I love a new race weekend.
My money. I'm like, oh man,
I love Disneyland races. I love the idea of a new race weekend. Like, they're trying to target me is what they're trying to do. Like, oh, this guy's going to go into retirement for Run Disney. Ooh, how can we get him back? Ooh, new race weekend. Let's do that. But yeah, it's just with Emily's senior year and without knowing the schedule, like, I can't, she only has like 4 marching games left basically of her career. Like, I can't miss one of those. But what also jumped out to me that we haven't talked about, Mike, and this is one of the first thoughts I had, and I had to do some research and I was right on it. This brings up an option to get 2 coast-to-coast medals now in the 2024 year. Because if you're doing the marathon weekend like we are and the Disneyland weekend, that's like a special coast-to-coast medal. So then if you do the Halloween one too, plus like a wine and dine or a princess or another one, you can get the second coast-to-coast. So you can actually get 2 coast-to-coast in 1 year. Kind of crazy.
Okay, stop. Okay, because I'm doing. See, I said I wasn't doing it. See, this is how Run Disney works, right? They work you like this.
Yeah, they're going to get you to do this Halloween one in wine and dine now, so you can get the second coast-to-coast.
I can't do the Halloween one. So my schedule for this season, and I think I've told everybody this, I'm doing Dopey, and then I'm going to Disneyland the next weekend, right? That was basically my budget, because I do try to be responsible with my money, because that's expensive. Like, I mean, the race weekend, I mean, because with Dopey you're there for 6 days to Walt Disney World, and then you got 2 plane tickets. You got to go to Orlando, then you got to immediately go to California. You got to get a hotel out there for 4 or 5 nights. I mean, that's a lot, and plus you're off work for all the time. You got to have somebody help you out. It's a lot to ask. So I did give up Princess instead. I was like, oh, because you got to, it's give and take. So I did give up Princess. So I'm just doing those 2. But then, they jump in with this. But on the calendar, what I noticed was next year on the calendar, the distance between Marathon weekend and the Disneyland race weekend is about, was it 3 weeks?
3 weeks. I think it was like January 30th. I noticed that too.
2 days. It's not 2 days, because we were comparing our flights. We come home for 2 stinking days this year, and then we're going out to the West Coast. Like, we're running 48 miles, or, people doing Dopey or whatever, Goofy or whatever races you're doing in Florida. You come home for 2 stinking days, and you get on another airplane and out to Anaheim.
That's why if I didn't,
crazy.
So we're going down there because Emily has that week off of marathon week. So why not go down there, do New Year's? It's been a while since we've done that. But if I didn't have Emily, or if she was in college, if this is 2 years from now, I wouldn't even fly home. I would just go straight to Anaheim from there, to be honest, and like maybe work remote a couple days. That should be my ideal way. So I kind of like how they do that in a certain way, but like, because if it's 3 weeks apart, then you're for sure going to go home and then fly out to Anaheim. So I don't know how I feel about that. Like, why not just get it all done, right? Like,
I wonder how many people are doing that this year. I bet you a lot of people are going straight from Orlando to.
Well, that's what they used to do, because it used to be the Star Wars. Not to get all like Run Disney on this episode.
We haven't talked about it enough, because we have a big running team and we haven't talked about it enough.
But it used to be before they canceled the Disneyland races in 2017. That used to be the light side weekend, was right after marathon. So a lot of people would do that. They would run Goofy or Dopey or whatever. Then they would do, sometimes some of them would actually do the Castaway Key Challenge, go on a cruise, then go to Anaheim.
That is,
that's so the ultimate.
Expensive. That is the ultimate, but man, I got to pay my mortgage.
I know. I got to work. I got to make the money to pay for these things. And then,
I mean, luckily I can work from anywhere, right? If I got a laptop and an internet connection, I can literally
hardest thing though back in the day was I know now we kind of work like in a hybrid remote thing. Like that's something that's come out of the pandemic that a lot of companies do. But like a lot of companies, your new time balance starts like on January 1st, and then you're blowing through 10 days right off the bat.
Don't I know? Crazy. Exactly. That's the thing. Everybody's going to be, all the runners are going to be out of their, what do they call it, PTO or whatever.
Yeah, PTO. Yeah.
The PTO is going to be GONE by the end of January. I mean,
my old boss, not my current one, but my one where I used to do like all the Run Disney races, he would just joke that was like my RTO, like my running time off, like that's all I did with like my time off was running.
I think that's, I think the reason they did this, cause like they brought the Disneyland race weekend back kind of last minute. And that's probably where they could like wedge it in for some reason, like this right there. But I do like the gap. I think that, I mean, for runners, right. You need a little time in between. I don't know. I like that.
Man, let me ask you something. So this is pretty neat, right? So the Halloween theme, like that's cool. It's going to attract all these runners. What are you hoping to see from the Halloween thing? Are you hoping to see like a night race, or do you want to see like certain characters that are coming out for it?
Beginning of September, by the way. It's not in October. It's beginning.
I know it's beginning of September. Yeah,
I know. I really hope that it sort of is a night race, and I don't know that they'll be able to do that because Anaheim, I mean, you're running through the city. Anaheim. It's not like Disney World where they can shut down streets and whatnot. So that makes it a little challenging. So we probably won't see the night race, but I think if you're going to do a Halloween race, doesn't that sort of lends itself to being a night race? I don't know. I think that, you do have to consider the temperature. Like, right. I think when you're looking at costumes, it's the difference between
forget a costume when it's hot. I know people wear costumes, and God bless you. We have so many lizards that wear these awesome costumes, and I love never one of you, and I love getting my picture with you. But I don't know how you do it. Like
I'm thinking like the Dr. Facilier costume for Halloween.
Right? Yes.
Are you guys masochists? Like I don't know. Like running is hard enough in a t-shirt and short.
No makeup if there's going to be certain temperatures, because that's going to be sliding down your face. I mean that, but I think it'll be interesting to see the first race that y'all get to do back in Disneyland and to see how it's really handled and what they're doing. I think that will really sort of give us a lot of information on what races will look like going forward. But it is, I mean, it's just, I love a good theme. And I'm dying to see what they do with this.
I'm struggling with a Halloween theme in September. that's where I'm really struggling.
Right. I know.
Could you just, they don't do like their food and wine festival out there in September, but like, couldn't you just like swap them, kind of like move Wine and Dine or something to Disneyland and pick another week when they do their festival, and then just have Halloween be in Florida. And then you could do that night race we're talking about, Pam.
I know that would be great. I think what they found out about that night race was it made traveling through the parks challenging.
Yeah. And the weather is always unpredictable at night too.
Here's the thing, like the thing they found out, the reason I think they stopped doing the night races in World was because it tended to rain at night. Like they kept getting hit with thunderstorms. But in Anaheim, you're way less likely to get a rainstorm at night.
But the problem with Anaheim, you don't control those roads. You got to work with the city. Yeah.
But I mean, if they could work that out for one night, you know what I'm saying? Like the 5 and the 10 Ks could be in the morning, but make the half marathon at night.
Man, if they somehow made an announcement that it was going to be a night, I'm sorry, Emily, if you have a football game, I'm missing that.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, at least in football, like you're playing cupcakes in September, at the beginning of September. Who cares?
I'll have mom video it, and then I can watch the performance. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
That thing is going to sell like hotcakes. I mean, but it's going to be blazing hot to run in that time of the year, probably.
Yeah. It is. I mean, I just know from experience, traditionally, like that time of year, I don't know what it is. It is so hot in Anaheim, and it just seems crazy to choose that week out of all you got 51 other weeks you could choose from, right? Because I only have the other one race weekend, and you chose that one.
Well, you know why? I mean, guessing probably one of the lowest attendance weekends, right? It's
right after Labor Day.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, excited to see. Right, it was all the buzz this week on social media, which of course, I mean, And what it kind of reminds me of, which was one of the best races ever at Walt Disney World, Tower of Terror 10 miler. That was a great weekend with a great theme. If they could just kind of recreate that on the West Coast, that was a cool theme.
Yeah.
They did that at the studios.
That's another thing too. Like I've always wanted to be perfect for a race, but like now I feel like anytime Run Disney introduces like a new race weekend, it doesn't even hit 5 years, you know, like because that's where you need to be perfect. So that was part of me too. Like, oh, I had to register for this so I can be perfect, but they're probably gonna retheme it 3 or 4 years later, and then no one would even get the perfect status. So I don't know.
Yeah, the only race I'm perfect on is Tower of Terror, but
and they stopped it.
Yeah,
So you're not technically you're perfect after 5. I don't know if they even got to 5 of those, to be honest.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't really worry about it. I just know I've done them, but yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
But it's exciting news. Like, you know, we were talking about earlier about like all these things coming back, you know, and like we went from skipping a whole race season to doing virtual races to slowly bringing back some of these races. And they added that virtual, which is kind of cool too. Like, because you can sign up for like a virtual dopey or whatever, like for those that can't make it or have that PTO. Like, I think that's a cool option that they've added. But now we've sprinkled in another, like Disneyland is back, and now we're going to get a second Disneyland race. Before we know it, they'll probably have 4 on each coast, like how they used to. And that would be awesome. Give us more options.
Yeah, I agree. Options are so good, you know, because I mean, you know,
because they know they're going to sell out every time, Mike. I mean, they do. They always sell out.
I know.
So the demand is there.
Extremely expensive, and we just die to take our money. It's like that meme. You know, I'm probably complaining because, you know, I couldn't give them my $285 to run 13 miles in 95.
And then your theme park tickets, and then your food, and then your travel.
Exactly. It's something's wrong with us, but we're a support group.
I need to start like a Run Disney like Michigan edition. So then
we're all here to help each other.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to join the Lizards, the BOGP Lizards on Facebook, come on over. We all support each other and empower each other. That's what we do. Man, so many sneakers. Okay, one other thing we want to talk about before we get out of here on a Friday, and this is exciting because, again, this would maybe help support you, and this will be available to you if you run the Halloween race next fall out at Disneyland, is the retheming of Paradise Pier Hotel to Pixar Pier Hotel, the third on-site hotel at Disneyland Resort. So, Pam, what are your thoughts on this? We saw some concept art, and this is opening at the end of January. The retheme will go live, and because it's been open during the construction or the retheming, but what are your thoughts?
I know. So I'm really interested so it's Pixar Place. I know we talked about this before we went live, and we
messed that up, and I even
I know.
God, Pier Place and all the P's.
Pixar Pier, Pixar Place, Pixar Paradise
Pier, so many things.
Yeah, I know, right? If Disney doesn't have a super long name, they have a name that sounds like something else that it either used to have or will have or is, the same. So anyway,
we can just call it PP. We know we're safe if we call it PP.
Exactly. Thank you.
Exactly.
Which actually is cow in Hawaiian. I learned that.
And what was the thing that George said you ate to start with a P?
Poi? Oh, the poi. Yeah.
Poi. I was trying to explain it to my wife last night, by the way, and it's terrible. But anyway,
I'm sure Pam has tried poi before. So.
I have, yes. It's an acquired taste.
It is an acquired taste.
I was like, and then George called in and started talking to Scott about poi, and I was like, and I was out. I was like, I'm just sitting there like, dude, I know it. Talking about a root vegetable. But
if you've ever tasted glue, it's a little similar. It has traits.
I said Play-Doh, but I like the glue.
Exactly. So anyways, so Paradise Pier is transforming into Pixar Place. And when I was out there a few months ago, we actually went over to check out the pool area because it had just recently reopened. And I was like, whoa, this is a great pool area. So for those who don't know, Paradise Pier is actually the third on-site hotel available at the Disneyland Resort. And one of the things I think that makes this hotel so special is that there are some theme park views from that hotel that are just beautiful. We happen to have a couple that overlooked California Adventure, Disney's California Adventure, and really just beautiful, beautiful views. You can actually even see World of Color from your room at some of those. So it's a great hotel. It's located right there. It has a private entrance into Disney's California Adventure Park in the morning, so that can save you some time too. but this retheming, I think, was something that was really needed because it was a hotel that was sort of owned by another company and Disney took it over. And there was some, they did try to theme it a little bit, but this is really going to make it more complete. And those rooms are actually going to be much more contemporary as well. So you're going to see so many of your Pixar friends in the rooms. And I think that that's a cool thing. Like we've seen with other retheming where they've sort of taken these iconic characters and made them part of the decor. You're going to see that too. Everything from the wall behind the beds has some of your favorite Pixar characters like the Toy Story folks and Brave and The Incredibles and all of that. The artwork in the rooms, even the bolster on the bed, the pillow is going to do that. You're going to see it up in the pool area. And when we went and checked that out, it was really cool. Down to like even the little individual fire pits were the characters from Inside Out that they had anger and those guys there doing, shaped like that. So that was really a cool thing. And I think it's just going to make something that helps create that bubble more in the Disneyland area. And when you're staying there and you feel like you're in the bubble, this is really going to make you feel like you're in the bubble. So what about you guys? What did you think about the concept art and the rooms that they're showing and whatnot?
Did you see it, Scott? The concept art?
I have not seen the concept art. I mean, I saw something like a while ago when they announced it, but if it's, I'm guessing maybe it's changed slightly. If not, but I mean, I agree with you, Pam. Like, I kind of always stayed away from that hotel, and I don't know why, if it was the theming or what it was, but I'm excited about it too. And I knew about those rooms, and like, I actually didn't know that you could enter Grand California from there. That kind of like perked me a little bit. Like, oh, I really like that about the Grand California. If you can enter DCA from there too, that'd be really awesome. But it was their pool area that I always thought was kind of weird, but it looks like they've done some nice remodeling for the pool area because isn't it like on an upper level, like on the 4th floor or something?
It is. It is.
And it looked like there was like no shade. That was one thing that worried with me, but I think it might be improved on what they're doing now.
They have added a bunch of different shade things. And it is sort of a rooftop because it's not the top of the building, but it is on top of a roof. So I don't know, it is like a rooftop pool area, and they've added more seating, a lot more seating. They've added some water play areas, all that kind of stuff. Even in the lobby, when you walk in, there's going to be this fantastic sort of Pixar mobile, whatever you want to call it. Whatever.
Pixar Pier,
we're just
Paradise
mispronouncing
Pier,
it all. Yeah, all the things. So yes, the things hangs down.
The baby's crib. What I like about it though, like the lobby concept art, I love the Luxo lamp. I love the Luxo lamp. That's one of my jams. Everybody's like on top of the ball. I used to bounce around and hit on top of the Pixar ball.
Yes.
And it's colorful. It reminds me, like, it's like the whole kind of thing is like if you took art of animation, but like did it in a totally different way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got like a lot of the elements of art of animation, but 100% different. Oh, it's hard to explain. It's got like all the character of art of animation because it's super bright and colorful. That's what I like about it. Because art of animation is just like popping with color. And so is this. And I'm very curious about this. And of course, of the 3 on-site hotels, this is going to be your least expensive option. And so this might be somewhere that.
But book early too. I'm sure you two know that. You two obviously know this from the travel side, but like every time I look at Disneyland rooms, it's like they're gone. So book early if you're interested in those for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing I wanted to mention about the changes too is that we're getting some new eateries. So they're getting their main location, their table service location will be Great Maple. And that's interesting there, right? They talked about modern America robust dishes, which I thought, that's always an interesting way to describe food. It's robust. But anyways, they talked about things like Cajun shrimp with a cheddar biscuit.
Yeah, I gotta say one thing that they have. Baby back ribs.
That's right. Not just baby back ribs, but soda pop braised baby back ribs. So maple pecan. That's true. Maple pecan crusted salmon, stuff like that. But then there's also going to be a grab and go coffee shop in the lobby called Sketchpad Cafe. And finally, that rooftop bar there by the pool, which was going to be called Small Bites. Small Bites, yes. BYTES.
You know what's missing? The thing we've talked about for at least a decade. Where's the Pixar character meal in this hotel?
Know,
right?
Seriously, why is this not a thing anywhere? Like this is the printing money. But Scott, though, I did see in this thing here, God bless America, maple bacon donuts.
When you said maple bacon, I thought that your next word was going to be old fashioned. But okay.
Well, I mean, that'd be good too, but making maple donuts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
If they didn't serve those.
Oh my
that'd
God.
be good. I know.
Put me on the wait list.
And the gym looks really cool. It shows Mike and Sully sort of doing their monsters training there too. So I think that's a cute little thing. But yeah, I think it'll be a nice refresh for this hotel.
Yeah,
sounds like you'll need it because of maple bacon donuts and baby back ribs.
That's the thing about all the resorts too. Like you come out to Disneyland and you think like, all right, I got a 4 or 5 day trip. I'm gonna do the parks and all that, or maybe see some other side of Southern California. But like sometimes you just want to enjoy the resort, you know. So like I highly recommend like adding on an extra day just so that you can enjoy the resort or even resort hop there. We always talk about resort hopping at Walt Disney World, but it's great to do that at Disneyland too.
I agree. I love the resorts out there. I mean, they're some of my favorites.
Absolutely.
And, for somebody that's just discovering kind of Disneyland, now you got the villas part of Disneyland Hotel, which is beautiful. And to me, I mean, the whole vibe, because I'd never been out there, right? The vibe of the Disneyland Hotel, like being on site, reminds me a lot of the Polynesian with the palm trees and stuff and Trader Sam's.
I get that a little bit. Yeah.
Like when you're right there by the pool, kind of reminds me of a little Polynesian area.
And that pool area looks great now, by the way.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I can't wait to be at Disneyland if I can survive Marathon Weekend.
Maybe you should just skip Marathon Weekend and just go straight to Anaheim. You know,
hey, you don't tease. I got to get my medals. I want to try to finish that thing. We'll see. But hey, fun show today. I appreciate you guys. We got to talk a lot of Disney news today. We didn't even get to the Haunted Mansion bar and the treasure. We'll talk about that in the future. That's going to be, I think that'll be popular.
Oh my gosh.
Well, remember the Star Wars one when it first launched? Like, I mean, the reservation system, I had to imagine they're going to do something similar with that all the time, probably.
My hot take on that is they should put that Haunted Mansion bar over in French Quarter too. Like that'd fit over there like a glove. That'd be,
me and Pam are not going to object to more lounges at Walt Disney World.
100% not.
That'd be another thing they could do. But yeah, on the ship, that'll be just insane. That'll be crazy. But
it will be. But you know what? That reservation system didn't last for very long.
Yeah.
It was only for the first few sailings. So it just sort of all tends to and I think for this, it'll be even less because these are 7-night cruises. So you have a lot more opportunity to do it. So we'll see. But hopefully it's not very long that they have it if they need it.
I just hope they have like a mug system, kind of like Trader Sam's, like
right?
You come back with some Haunted Mansion mugs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So it's exciting time to be a Disney fan. That's why, we're lucky. We've been doing the show for 15 years, but never lack of news to talk about. Always exciting. Always fun.
Always something.
All right. We're going to get out of here and let you decorate your Christmas tree, I guess, this weekend or whatever you got to do. Eat all the leftover Halloween candy at least.
There you go.
And send the Kit Kats this way. Love those suckers. All right. We're going to jump out of here. Have a great weekend. Thanks again. And don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We're standing by this weekend. Help you plan a great Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney Vacation. To swing by the website over at themagicforless.com. No additional cost to you. You get lots of perks. And most of all, we're going to get you the best price possible. But, we're going to make sure that you have a magical vacation. We're going to help you avoid the pitfalls. That's the biggest thing. We're going to set you up for success. That's our goal from day one, from any time. We just want you to have the best trip possible. We give you these tips via email. It's not all the time. They're spread out. But they tell you, hey, guess what? Your time to make your dining reservations is coming up soon. Let's think about some things here. Hey, think about getting an external battery for your phone. Just like a tip like that. I mean, it seems so kind of benign, but just having an external battery is a great idea because, if it's 2:30 in the afternoon and your phone's at 10%, having an external battery in your pocket, that's a game changer these days. I mean, things like that you might not think about. We just want to help you think about things.
I can attest to these tips. So like a lot of times, Mike, I just delete them because like I see them like, oh, Mike sent me another tip. Like,
you're a veteran.
But like the other day, one caught my attention. It was like your ADR bank is coming open, and like that's tomorrow for me. So thanks for the reminder. I got to make my New Year's Eve reservation because I can't go into Epcot without a reservation.
You're welcome. And thank you. By the way, hey, make some good ones for marathon weekend because again, everybody knows you're my ADR guy for when I go down. So and tag me on.
That's right. That's
how this works. All right. So don't forget, we'll take care of you. I promise you. Just like Scott takes care of me on my ADRs, I'll take care of you. So here we go over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon that supports us throughout the year, especially during the holiday season. And thanks so much to our patrons. You allow us to put the show out. I can't thank you enough for that. And if you'd like to join us starting at just $5 per month, that really does support everything we do. And you get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us all a follow on social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. Scott's at EpScott, EPSCOT. And Ricky, still a little bit under the weather. She's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS, Instagram, Twitter /X and Threads. Give us a follow over there and join us Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We'll have the BOGP open line and talk to you guys on the phone. And maybe we'll even have the video chat open. We'll have a good time with that. All right, time to get out of here and wish you a great weekend. Thanks for hanging with us. We love doing the show, and it's always so much fun to interact with you on the social. So give us a holler this weekend. So for Scott and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That's fun. Good stuff.
I forgot to give a shout out to the Wine and Dine runners because they're probably listening to that when they do the 10K. But
dude,
I just thought about it right as you were doing the closing.
Dang it. Oh, well, do it on social media.
Good podcast. Good episode.
Good job, y'all.
All righty. I will catch you all later. I'm going to edit these bad boys.
All right.
All right.
See you guys later. Have a good week.
You guys too.